Yes, thank you.
Olivier, bonsoir.
Bonsoir.
Without Justin, Daryl, and Greg, people are wondering where the scoring is going to come from. I think both you guys are going to factor into that. Shaka said it's going to be more of a committee thing. But just for you, how have you prepared yourself, physically for a heavier workload this season and also mentally, now that there comes with more expectations that people saw what you could do last year?
Yeah, this offseason, it was about putting a lot of work, getting more confidence with losing those guys. I mean, we as a collective, we got to bring more of the scoring that's a void that needs to be, be filled. But I feel like as a unit, we'll put on the work where we're going to all improve our scoring and our ability to, to offensively produce. And I feel like, for me personally, it was just getting more confident, keep prepping, shooting-wise and just getting more confident in the offense and with my teammates and just finding opportunities to be effective on that end. So, I feel in a good spot and confident right now. So.
Omax, what was it kind of like? You were in Canada this summer competing to be on that U23 team, and then you were on the U19 team the summer before. What have your experiences been like with those teams?
No, they've been great. I mean, always the opportunity to represent your country on the international stage is something that I take a lot of pride in. And I feel like, playing against the best players in other countries for my group age, it's an experience that helped me a lot grow as a basketball player and grow, in terms of learning the game. And all those experiences I've taken with Team Canada and bringing it here, to help my team, be better and just all those little things that you find in the international game, you can bring that to the college game, and it's going to help you, gain an advantage. So, yeah, it was definitely a great experience for me.
For David, just what's the biggest thing you kind of learned from your freshman year last year, and how do you think you're different as a player now versus maybe the end of the season? What's the biggest way in which you've grown?
The biggest thing I say I learned is playing hard and handling adversity. Not everything will go your way, and so in the college game, it's all about mental toughness, and I think that's something that Shaka preaches and that we have a good team identity with. So for me personally, I think I've gotten a lot more tougher, and I'm ready to go, ready to play. I've been working all summer, so.
David, so far we've heard a lot about offense and where's that's going to come from and stuff like that, but do you guys feel like you can play more of Shaka's style of defense this year, whether it's trapping more, getting in the lanes, passing lanes more, deflections? What have you seen so far in practice?
Yeah, for sure, all of that. We have been super aggressive on the defensive end of practice, flying around. Our personnel, we have it so we can kind of guard. Each guy can guard all five guys because we all help each other. There's never really a mismatch anywhere on the court because it's never a one-on-one. It's 1 against 5. So five guys guard the ball. We're going to fly around and try to cause havoc.
David, you guys seem pretty close together in that wing group. What is it like going up against Omax every day in practice?
Well, the wings are the best group on the team for sure. It's just something about wings, in the basketball game. But going against Omax, all the wings, is fun. We make each other better every single day. And we try to help each other out. Like me and Omax, Zach, and Ben, we all take care of our bodies really well, which is something he introduced me to. I never really did that before, so just helping each other makes us better.
For both of you, what is it like being out there with Zach? Obviously, coming in, similar role to Daryl, 1 year, and then he's done. But what's it been like practicing with him, and then what's he kind of bring to the unit as a whole?
No, Zach's been great. He's been great, man. Just his ability to come in and just add value to this team. I mean, he's a great guy that, comes in, works hard. He's a guy that's just going to go out there and just give everything he has on the floor on both ends. And that's what we need. We need that toughness, that fire, to win, that fire to get stops on the defensive end and just on offense, just, being confident and aggressive. I feel like Zach, his ability to learn and to pick up stuff on the fly, like right away, I mean, he's been great, and I feel like he's gonna be a big key to our success this year. So yeah.
Like Omax said, he's been doing great. He's a huge defensive motivator for me. I never wanted to play defense more until I met Zach. He's just a great guy. He's a funny guy, but knowing he's gonna be there, helping me in my load or having help, just having him back there, makes you want to guard more, makes you want to press up more, you want to get in the stance more. So he's everywhere. He's a defensive anchor for sure. He's a good player.
Jop, a year ago you were telling us about doing the parking lot mile in preparation for your freshman season. Did Todd have you guys doing any crazy stuff this year, this time around?
You already know. You already know. We've done some crazy things. Still doing the parking deck mile. I have to cut the time down even more. I feel like I am in the best shape I've ever been in. I'm excited to get out there and play, and my legs feel great. So, what we do, buzz run on the beach, the hills, all types of stuff. Todd's crazy, so he gets us prepared for the Big East.
Oh yeah.
Omax, you shot the three better at the end of the season last year. How much have you worked on that, and how much can that unlock the rest of your game?
Now, I've worked on it a lot. It's something that, was a big emphasis for me this offseason, getting more consistent. And I feel like right now I just feel more comfortable in my shot, just stepping into it, being free-minded and just shooting in, regardless of the outcome. I feel like I'm more free. I'm mentally, I'm more free in my shot, and I feel better about it. So I feel like this year is just about being confident and just stepping into it and knocking it down. But I feel definitely at a better spot with my shot than I was last season. So I feel like, it's definitely a good place right now.
Omax, you're gonna handle the ball a lot more this year. Mm-hmm. Where did ball handling come from? It was at a young age. Did somebody teach you? Maybe you were a bigger kid, but or did you do it on your own? Where does that part of the game come from?
Since I was a kid, since I've been playing basketball, I was never like really taller than everybody. I was always like regular height. So I grew up, playing as a guard and really developing my guard skills. Like as a kid, my parents were always like big on developing my entire game and not just, putting me in a box or whatever. So that's where it comes from. And then when I turned 14, 15, that's when I got a really big growth spurt. And then, at that point, I still had developed that part of my game. So I just feel like it comes from there, and then just repping it anytime I'm on the floor, and just keep getting better at it. So,
So for both of you guys, how did you take the energy generating behavior mindset through the off season into this season?
Well, during practice, it's a big thing we focus on. We try to encourage each other as much as possible, which makes our practice better. And we realize that when we create energy, especially on the defensive end, is when we're at our best and we can fly around and get to the offensive end and score. So we just feed off each other really well, and energy for this team is huge.
Yeah, exactly what Job said. EGBs is what really brings us together and helps us, fight whatever adversity we have. Whatever adversity comes up in the game, or fatigue, or, a team makes a big play and then we got to respond on defensive end, or whatever happens, EGBs is what gets us together and makes us forget of whatever happened and gets us locked into the present moment, locked into each other so that we could come together and, get a stop or get a basket on the other end. So that's really where it comes from, and it's a big part of winning.
Omax, this is for you. This is the first time in a while you've been at the same program for 2 years in a row now. How much more comfortable do you feel now that you've been able to this is your second year at Marquette?
A lot more comfortable. And I think the biggest thing for me is the relationships I've built. Being here for a second year, those relationships just develop into a point where I'm so much more comfortable with my teammates and just as a program and as a unit with my coaches and just the way we play. That's something that, for the past couple years, changing programs I didn't have, you know what I'm saying? And I'd always had to change and adapt. Here, being with this group again another year is something I feel much more comfortable in where I am, and I feel like they, on the other side, they trust me more and I trust them more. And that coming together, that leads to me being my best on the court. So I think it's a huge thing, and I'm glad, that I'm at a place for 2 years in a row because, it shows, definitely shows. So yeah.
Omax, you were talking earlier about being more disruptive on defense, creating more turnovers. You saw the athleticism of Chase Ross and Sean Jones out there today.
Mm-hmm.
How much are those guys going to help out in that regard?
Oh, they gonna help up. They gonna help a lot. I mean, their ability, even as freshmen, I mean, I feel like they've been really good just adapting to the way we play and the way Shaka wants us to play defensively, and their athleticism, their quickness, their speed. I mean, they're going to be big, especially coming into the game and just giving us a spark. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's what we want from them, just coming in, giving us a spark defensively, offensively, and they're gonna disrupt the other team. I mean, some other teams might underestimate them because they're freshmen or think, oh, nah, they're not ready for this level. But, shoot, if you take them lightly, I mean, they're going to come and they're going to disrupt you, and I feel like they're going to be a big key for us this year. So, yeah.
Question for both of you. Nevada shared with us that you guys did the baseline for the Biomechanics shooting lab. What was that experience like for both of you? And was it something that was like useful part of your style of game during the summer?
I mean, you did it, right? The shooting lab, remember?
Yeah, you didn't do it?
No, I had class.
Oh, I mean, it was we didn't get the results yet for that, so I haven't seen. But it was interesting to see the technology and how, it's able to analyze your shot and like see, how consistent it is and everything. I don't know exactly like what the results are yet because I haven't gotten it, but I feel like it's good to see that the technology invested, and now we will be able to see, exactly where we need to, adjust or, where consistency needs to be better on our shot. And I think it's going to help us in the end. But, yeah, I don't know exactly what my results are yet for that. So.
Also, how you doing?
How you doing?
Good. You guys were joking about this on the court, but when the staff first got here and you were kind of deciding whether you wanted to stick around or not, how do you think you've evolved most as a player since then?
I would say just my mindset with Coach Smart has probably been the biggest thing I've been working on. Just staying aggressive and just building that mentality to be aggressive in attack mode all the time. So my game's developed a lot with Coach Smart, but my ball handling, just my versatility on the floor, I would say, that and my mindset.
What's it for both of you guys? What's it like to compete against Omax every day? He's high flyer, likes to get in transition, very athletic. But what's it like for you guys as two of the bigs who kind of he's attacking when he's attacking the rim?
It's kind of just being aware of where he's at on the court, not letting him get that head of steam to go to the rim because he's really good at finishing around the rim. So picking him up before he gets there and just staying in front of him, knowing where he is because he's a really active cutter. So it's just really, if we know where he is, then we can kind of deal with it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. He's a violent driver. We always talk about violence in our program. And so just making sure he doesn't get that head of steam and gets downhill.
So you're talking about your ball handling. Shaka's mentioned several times you're going to handle the ball more than any other center in the country. Just what specifically did you do? What kind of drills did you do to get yourself adept at that?
Yeah, we had this like two-ball workout that Coach wrote out during the summer, and I'd come back at night, and I was doing it almost every night. When me and Stevie would be in there doing our two-ball stuff, so I did that, and then I would come in the mornings and work out with the GAs and do a lot of ball handling and passing stuff. So.
Also, in the summer, you guys were a part of that biomechanics shooting lab. For you, I know Omax was saying you guys didn't get the results back, but what was that experience like for you? And then do you think when you do get the results, will it be helpful as you able to evaluate your game and grow your game for this team and for the season?
Yeah, for sure. It was a cool experience. We just hopefully we'll get to learn a lot more about ourselves and our game. So that was a great experience.
Ben, what are some comparisons and similarities between the NBA Global Academy and then the atmosphere here playing basketball in Marquette?
To be honest, there's not many. Like, the competition's good at NBA Academy, but it's kind of just once I got here, the intensity and competitiveness is just on a next level here. So when I first got here, it was a big shock to me, but it didn't take me too long to get used to it all and get it under my belt.
Oh, so this is for you as someone who's been here one of the longest out of everyone on this roster. What has it been like seeing Omax become a little bit more comfortable now that he's coming into his second year at Marquette?
Yeah, it's been great. I think Omax is gonna have a big year this year, and I think a big part of that is just he's grown with his relationships on the team, and he knows that we all believe in him. And sometimes during the season you can have a little bit of self-doubt, but when you have that strong backbone of the relationships and the belief of your teammates and coaches behind you, it can really help. So Omax knows that we all believe in him, and I think he's gonna have a great year this year.
Ben, when Oso's out of the game, are you playing mostly at the 5? And if so, like, how does the offense look different with you in there?
Yeah, I've tried to develop more into playing a bit of the 5-man. Obviously, it's a new role for me, new position-wise. But when I'm out on the floor, it's kind of just being able to spread the floor a bit more because I can spread the floor and shoot. So a lot of it is if I'm getting in a screen action, sliding out of it so I can get a shot, or just bringing my big man out so that the guards and everyone else can get to the rim. It's just those little things.
Also, you talk about doing the 2-ball drills. For you, ball handling, is it like starting from scratch, or is there's some basis here so that you're comfortable enough going forward?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've never played big. In high school, I played on the perimeter. In AAU, I played point guard at one point. So I've always had a good feel for the ball and dribbling in general. I really wanted to make sure that I felt comfortable where I could get to any spot on the floor. And coach saw me improving a lot, and he wanted to take advantage of that skill.
So for both of you guys, how has the emphasis on energy-generating behaviors changed the way that you approach practice?
It's a big deal for us. One of our advantages as a team is our energy that we bring, and we have to practice that in practice to be able to do it in the game. So we have that emphasis, and it can change the entire practice. If you're on a team with higher energy, you have a higher chance to win. So we just try to practice that so in the games we can be the team with higher energy.
Yeah, kind of like I also said, it's like it's the small things that go into the EGBs, but they carry a lot. Usually the team that's winning have the most, but that can always change as long as the team that's down, if they can bring that, then they can definitely push forward. But usually if that's down in a practice, then it's not really a big of a chance to come back.
Oh, so I noticed a couple times you or some other people yell out KD when you're backing somebody down. Obviously, it's a Kevin Durant reference, but what does that mean? What does that trigger in the offense?
Just for us, KD means just basically a post up. Like you have the ball in the perimeter, wherever you are. It just means to back your defender down. That's just our call for it.
Ben, this is for you. How's it been adjusting from your life in New Zealand to the city of Milwaukee so far?
It was a big change at the start, getting used to the whole American lifestyle. But it didn't take me too long to get it to understand it all. I've been here a couple times before on basketball trips, so it wasn't a massive shock to me, but it still was a big change for me. But I had my teammates and all that to help me through it, so it was good.
It's about Zach, actually. So, you guys are both going to share time with Zach in the front court. He seems to be able to handle the ball and pass a little bit. What's it been like playing with him, and how do your games mesh together?
It's been really good playing with Zach. He can spread the floor, attack. He's versatile. He can handle the ball, pass really well. So it kind of just takes a load off us. I feel like we can get to where we need to be, and he can find us.
Yeah, it's been great. One of our advantages as a team is that we're kind of positionless. We kind of run a 5-out basically, so with Zach on the floor, we can play him at any position 1 through 5, and just we're very versatile. So.
Zach, how you doing, man?
Doing great, man. How you doing?
Good, good. Shaka was talking about, in regards to you, you're going to be much better next month than you were this month, much better in December than you were going to be in November. Just since your knee scope, how far have you come? How far do you think you have to go to be the player you want to be?
I feel like just taking it one day at a time is the biggest thing. I've made so much progress in these past few months from when I got here originally. And then, you know, obviously I had that surgery, so that set me back a little bit. And then I came back, and I was behind because I hadn't been here for the whole summer, so I had to really catch up fast because season started in like 3 months. So that was a really big thing for me, but the one thing that I kept with me was just taking it one day at a time. I knew I wasn't going to be perfect. Everyone around me knew I wasn't going to be perfect. And so the main thing on my mind was just taking it one day at a time, and I've came a long way since coming back.
First, just when was that scope?
It happened June 1st. June 1st on the dot.
I'm just wondering, last season, when you were at Loyola, when did you start hearing from Division I school about the possibility? When did you start realizing it was a realistic possibility you could make the leap to a Division I level? And when did you decide that was what you wanted to do?
I feel like I knew before the season even started that that was a possibility. I knew I had 1 year left of eligibility, and I did want to, you know, express that option to possibly take that. But overall, I've always known that I could play on this level. That was never a question in my head. And I started getting a lot of attention after we beat Division I school, University of New Orleans, and I had 27 points. And that's when I started getting the majority of my attention, was after that. So.
What has it been like the translating your game from Loyola here to out to Marquette? Obviously, the Big East is a different level of competition. So what has that been like? And then where do you kind of evaluate yourself now with the season a week away?
I would say the biggest difference from Loyola to Marquette is the pace. It's just so fast paced. It's not, you don't have a second to catch your breath. Like, it's one thing after another, and that's the main thing that I've had to adjust to being here. Coach has been getting on me every single day about just next thing. Don't worry about what just happened. Next thing. So that's the main thing.
You and Oso seem to have a pretty good chemistry playing together. You know, dumping off passes to each other along the baseline and everything. What have you learned about playing alongside him?
That he's just a really high IQ player. And I know that wherever I'm at on the court, I know that he's looking for me, and that's the biggest thing. Playing with another playmaker, I know exactly how that works because I do the same thing. So whenever he has the ball, I'm ready to move at any time because I know he's going to find me if I'm open. So that would be the main thing about playing with him and just getting really comfortable with him.
They talked about it kind of at the end of the practice. You guys on the wings, you Omax, kind of that whole group. What's it like to compete against Omax? Likes to attack the rim, but just what are those battles like in practice?
It gets really competitive. We talk a lot of trash. We love each other, but we definitely do get after it every single day, and he makes me so much better. He's a great defender, and I'm a great defender, so we definitely challenge each other every single day. Coach doesn't even really like to put us on the same team because we just really get after it, and it's been really fun getting to know him and his play style and just competing every single day.
How did you end up at Loyola in the first place? Had you gotten recruited by any Division I, Division II, Division III, any NCAA schools, and just why did you decide Loyola was the place for you initially?
Actually, out of high school, I wasn't very highly recruited. The spot that I was at in Prosper, Texas, it was a really dry spot for recruiting in the first place, and nobody out of my school just really went into any D1 schools coming out of Prosper, Texas, and it was really hard for me to find recruiting, and my parents both didn't know anything really about basketball, so we just were like kind of out of the blue in that situation, so we didn't really know anything until we kind of kept learning over the years of me playing.
What is your kind of role here on this team that you've been able to learn over the summer, and then what do you hope to be throughout this entire season?
I feel like my role is to do a lot of different things. I'd say the main thing that stands out about me is that I'm very versatile. I like to create for others and play with a lot of violence and aggressiveness. And I would say just the main thing that I want to bring to this team is someone who gives a lot of energy every single night on the defensive end and the offensive end, because I can do both, and just be a big spark for my teammates and give a lot of energy.
When Job was in here, he called you a defensive anchor. Has that always been a big part of your game? And if so, how has that kind of progressed, or has it been used a little bit more now here at Marquette with Shaka and staff?
I would definitely say that's a part of my game that has came out way more now that I've gotten to Marquette, with this team just having such a big defensive identity. At my last school, I was kind of just the main guy, so I didn't really express all of my energy on defense when I was there. So now, just being at this school, I'm surrounded by a bunch of great players. I can, like, now I've been challenged to a point where I've had to bring out my best on defense, and it's been incredible for me. I love it. It's been something. It's like a new skill that's been unlocked, just to take it to another level.
You're the oldest guy on the team. Just how have you taken on a leadership role with the young guys, the freshmen, and all the newcomers?
I feel like the biggest thing with that is really it was learning that no matter where I'm at right now, everyone trusts me, and everyone trusts my views on whatever I'm talking about. At first, I was kind of a little bit passive with my voice because I was learning myself and, getting back into things. Obviously, I was in surgery, so that set me back a lot, and I knew that once I got back, I had to learn really fast, and so I didn't really want to be a guy that was, telling everyone what to do when I was learning myself. But that's been my main thing, honestly, is just learning that everyone trusts me regardless of where I'm at right now. And if I see something that someone's doing wrong, like, everyone gives me that kind of authority on the team as being one of the older guys to call anyone out and then be receptive of it on their end.
Just wondering, I think there are a few Loyola guys who are making the move to Division I this year. Do you keep in touch with those guys, with Miles, Brandon, those guys? And do you kind of talk much about what the adjustment's been like for each of you or anything like that?
Absolutely. Miles and Brandon are both my guys, and they're in very similar positions than I am at their schools, and they're going through their bumps and bruises just like I am, and it's been a really fun ride just being able to talk to them about it, because we're all in the same boat, coming from that level to a whole new level. So that's been great talking to them about it.
If I'm correct, you didn't take many three-pointers at Loyola because of what was on that roster. Do you see that becoming a bigger role? Does Shaka want you to take more three-pointers, or you kind of trying to use a little bit more different areas of your offensive skill set?
That's a great question. Everyone on our team has made it a point of emphasis that they trust me, and they trust my ability to stretch the floor and be able to knock down a shot. And so everyone's made that a point of emphasis in my role, that, like, you need to be a threat to shoot. And so I'm in there working every single day, getting up shots, and working on my 3-point shot to be able to space the floor and knock down open shots. So that is definitely going to be a part of my game this year.
What were the crowds like? I imagine for just the adjustment of playing in an arena like this, and what were the biggest crowds you played in front of at Loyola, either during the NAIA tournament or before?
Honestly, they didn't get too crazy. It got a lot better towards the end, towards the tournament. But overall, with COVID happening, and last year this last year, Hurricane Ida hit New Orleans, and our whole gym got torn down. It was really hard to get a lot of fans in there. So honestly, coming to Marquette now, with what I'm about to see, I will have seen nothing compared to this at all.